So we're on the final stretch of this bathroom. I've gone through from framing, miscellaneous aspects, some blocking, the shower curb, so on and so forth. And of course, I've installed the cabinetry. And now we're going to put on the final touches. So we're going to hang a mirror. I put in the cabinet drawer pulls and door pulls and knobs. And so I got a mirror and a couple of shelves to hang today. You saw that I drew a little picture of the mirror and just kind of laid some things out just to grab some dimensions, just to get an understanding of where the fasteners are going to go, how the mirror is going to end up in proximity to the light and the faucet, centered on the sink, so on and so forth. So today's one of these days where you want to take your time, do a good job, approach this with a clear head, and because there's fresh paint, new tile, new cabinetry, and you're trying not to drop tools or come up with a scenario where the painter's got to come back and drywall repairs. Everyone's really excited about this bathroom just being finalized. So this is one of the toggles, the wall anchors I'm going to use for the mirror, and I've actually never used this type before. So it's almost like a roll, but I like the concept, at least, where it turns in beyond the drywall so it can't pull out. So here's my little janitor key with all my drill bits and that sort of thing. And of course I bring a stud finder just to get an idea. Actually, that stud finder, it's not a bad one, I suppose. It will pick up electrical current. Every once in a while I'll get lucky where I don't have to use a wall anchor. Maybe there's some wood blocking or framing that I can run screws into. So I just want to double check because it might make a difference in how I go about installing, in this case, this mirror. So I'm just going to pre-drill. A lot of times with that drill bit that I'm using there, it's not the sharpest drill bit. Which is good. That's on purpose, because if I hit something back there that feels a little funny, I'm going to stop what I'm doing, because if it's a wire, if it's a pipe, and at that point, then I'm going to run these anchors. Now here comes a failure, and I wasn't crazy about that, so I tried it again with a new anchor, and it seemed to go okay, which is fine. I just gingerly just kind of triggered that thing in there. And I'll show you at the end of this video why that failed, why I think it failed anyway. So I just, of course, run some screws in there. I put a little washer on that screw also, so that the little flanges on the back side of the mirror would catch a hold of it and be a little more difficult for it to bump up and then, of course, off and have a failure like that. So now I'm going to move over to the glass shelves. So the glass shelves are a little funny. The homeowner had those in the previous bathroom, and I'm always like a little bit leery of, there's no instructions, there's no pattern. Maybe, and these brackets were like 4 or 5 pieces each. So you're not sure when they were removed from the old bathroom if there's parts missing or something like that. So, and honestly, I'd never seen the hardware for these glass shelves before. So it was a little learning curve. One of my favorite quotes is, "Nobody rolls out of bed knowing how everything works." So anyway, I'm laying things out really carefully. This is the bracket that it's going to be. I'm going to make all 4 of these brackets my victim. So there's a lower, smaller, thinner shelf. That's about a 1/4 inch glass, I think. And then there's an upper, kind of longer and wider shelf, and it's thicker. And I believe that was 1/2 inch glass. So when I'm putting the tape on fresh paint, I'm not just pressing it right into that fresh paint. It's just on there so I can make register marks. And I'm going to show you here in a minute how I like to pull stuff off of fresh paint. Even if it's painter's tape, you have to be very, very careful. And even if it's hardwood flooring, you've got to be very, very careful, because I've seen guys pull finish right off of hardwood flooring, old hardwood flooring, which is surprising, but it can pull it off. So proceed with caution. So again, I'm going to pre-drill everything just to make sure that I'm not hitting something in that wall. Now, this particular wall, and these are going to be half-inch holes for these anchors I'll show you. But this particular wall, since this is a condo, not a condom, is double layer half-inch drywall. I think it was half-inch drywall with insulation also. So in that scenario, anchors are going to play funny little games with you, especially the ones I'm getting ready to use. And it did kind of cause me like a little bit of trouble. And I've never used this type of pull anchor before. A buddy of mine gave these to me. He just swore up and down that they're the next best thing to slice bread. So I went, you know what? I'm gonna try these because I really wanted to strive for not only accuracy but integrity on these glass shelves. You get all done running big holes with big anchors, and if they're a little crooked, there went your accuracy. If they fall off the wall, well, so that's why I opted for this particular type of anchor. I trusted my buddy when he said that they're a good anchor, and you know what? He was right. I probably won't thank him or even mention the fact that I use these. That's just how our friendship goes. But I got an understanding of how they operate and what they're doing when they're actually in, when I put them in the wall, just to get an understanding of how are they going to react to the second layer of drywall, the insulation that's in there, and pretty straightforward. I just push the insert into the hole. It's like a little friction insert that receives the screw, and then the little straws, they kind of look like zip ties, and they just break away, and then it's ready to receive a fastener. I think it's like an 832 fastener, and they just break away really easy, which is pretty cool. That's how they function. That's how they operate inside the wall. So I just zip those suckers in there, and I'm sure you didn't need to say this 4 different times. I sped up through that video a little bit so you wouldn't hate me. But anyway, they break away. Here's the brackets. I run the screw through. There's a hole in this bracket. There's only one way it can go on. I screw these to the wall, and you know what? I was really happy with how tight these things ended up to the wall. It seems like you actually could put a set of books on these glass shelves. This lady can put her weight set on these glass shelves when I'm all done. I felt really confident that this is the right application for these anchors, and I like having a library of options when it comes to wall anchors, and I like to keep them in my truck because when you're on the job site, you're trying to finish up, and somebody throws you a curveball, something different, something that you're just not used to. See the sidewalls of that anchor? They're a little thin. They're a little flimsy. Now on this pull anchor, they're meant to be flimsy a little bit. You can pull on them, but the minute you break them away, they snap off, which they're meant to. So this is how it turned out. The mirror looks, there's a fat kid in the mirror, but we got the shower grab bar done. We got the cabinetry hardware done, and this is a wrap.